All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making up plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Yeah.
Good morning. It is March 31st. Welcome to ASAP in the morning. I'm joined by Jay and Michael. Jay, how you feeling today, my guy?
Man, I am doing good, man. No complaints, man. Lots of good basketball was played last night, and I know we're going to get into that. But, yeah, man, I think in the sports world, man, lots of good things are happening, brother.
110%. Michael, how you feeling?
I'm doing good, gentlemen. How y'all doing?
I'm all right. I am all right. So we got a packed show for everybody who's watching. Obviously, Bruce Arians has retired, so I guess him and Tom decided to switch. We'll talk about that as well as Todd Bowles being the new head coach. The new NFL overtime rules that are just for the playoffs. Is it a good idea? Or are we starting to cater to the crybabies? We'll talk about that. Paul George came back. Does that give hope for the other LA team? But first, Jay, let me ask you something. This Utah Jazz team is mid as shit, bro. They're not that good at all. They're generic as they come. They scare nobody. Maybe it's just me. They're reminding me a little bit of Portland, where they're going to war with the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again. And they're not really making enough changes where you can be a legitimate championship contender. Like, they're a playoff team, but they're only a playoff team because you need 8 teams.
Right.
So is it time to break up Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert?
You know, I mean, I don't know, man. You know, Rudy does what Rudy does. He gets you 16. He's a good rebounder, so he fits the mold. He doesn't do a lot on the way of points, but he gets you a lot on the rebound end. And then you look at, Donovan Mitchell. He shot what? He shoots better about 50%. He got you 33 points the other night. I mean, I don't know, man. I think it's if you want to look for draft picks, I guess so. You can say that. I mean, they're definitely a 500+ ball club. They're not gonna get you where you need to go. So maybe you do. Maybe you feel like, maybe it's just a time for change because we realize that this ship just isn't going where we need it to go. But then you also got to look at, maybe some of your role players, is your bench as deep as what it needs to be? Because even the bench last night, you had 2 good bench players, and Clarkson and Rudy Gay. But Rudy Gay is kind of getting a little older in the tooth, man. Mm-hmm. So he really is. He's getting a little older in the tooth, man. So I don't know, man. I think, you look at Clarkson, he shot just a little bit under 50%, but he went 1 for 7 at the 3-point line. And then you got Donovan Mitchell, who went 0 for 4. So, I mean, these, of course, these are just isolated games. But at the same time, those isolated games are what keeps you at 500 and not getting you above where you need to go. So, yeah, I mean, and the Clippers, let's be honest. Well, we'll get more into I'm not going to go too far into the Clippers right now because I know that's another topic, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole just yet. But absolutely, man, it's a boring club. It's a basic 500 club. So, yeah, man, I think maybe you do something in terms of shaking that. I think you keep Donovan. I don't think you get rid of Donovan quite yet. But here's the thing, though, probably at the same time, how many big men are really in the league that you can say could come in and do a good job? I mean, there's not a whole lot of big men in the league that are, you know what I'm saying? That's the only question I have is if you get rid of Gobert, who do you bring in to replace him?
Anybody. I mean, look, and here's the thing.
I get it, but who? Like all the big men that are great big men, they're not leaving their teams. So who's out there that you think is on the market that would be better than Gobert that is going to be expendable?
DeAndre Ayton.
You think DeAndre Ayton is better than Gobert?
110%. To me,
it's the same guy that latches on with different team after different team after different team. If he's so good, why has he not latched on at a permanent
with DeAndre Ayton?
Oh, no, Ayton, I'm sorry. Hey, I apologize. For some reason, my brain went to DeAndre Jordan. I'm sorry.
No. I'm talking about Ayton. I'm talking about
Hey,
the one.
it was a DeAndre part that screwed me over, man.
I was about to say.
But that's my point, though. Is Phoenix gonna let go of Ayton? There's no way Phoenix is gonna let go of Ayton. They're gonna make that dude a permanent fixture.
Well, I'm just saying, if they do, that's something they can. That's
absolutely okay. Yeah, if Ayton, if they can somehow,
he's gonna be a free agent. They haven't extended him yet. They haven't extended.
I think that's just a matter of time. I don't see why they wouldn't.
I mean, don't get it twisted. I believe so too. But let's say for some reason it collapses and he doesn't end up going, the Utah Jazz should be looking at him. Look, I've said this from the beginning. Rudy Gobert is not a great center. Let's just call it what it is. He's not. He's not. And if you call him, if you think he's a great center, basketball is not in your wheelhouse, right? If you want to call him a guy who can lock down the paint, sure, that's fine, okay? No problem. But just being a defensive anchor doesn't make you a great center.
I get it. Yeah,
it just doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, DeAndre Ayton can hold down the paint, and he can also give you some buckets. Same thing with Karl Anthony Towns, Joel Embiid, Jokic. Like, to put Rudy Gobert in that category, to me, is just ridiculous. Right. That's just me. Listen, and I agree with you, Jay. You can't get rid of Donovan Mitchell because, in my opinion, Donovan Mitchell is the best player on your team. If you're going to get rid of Donovan Mitchell, then that just tells me you're rebuilding.
Absolutely.
Kind of the same thing with Portland, right? Portland doesn't want to rebuild. That's why they're keeping on to Damian Lillard. That's why they traded CJ McCollum, because in their mind, they're like, oh, yeah, we can still do something as long as we keep our best player. That's kind of the same thing with Utah. Now, the problem is, y'all paid Rudy Gobert to, in essence, be a role player. Now, no one's ready for that conversation.
No, that's
ESPN tells you Rudy Gobert is great. So when you hear that, you're like, oh, yeah, it's easy to just parrot it back. Rudy Gobert is not that great. He's really not. Let's be honest, bro. He's a Daniel Tice from France. If people are ready for the conversation, that's just the reality of the situation. Now, I don't know where this love affair for him came from. I mean, hey, hats off to him. He keeps jumping. He'll get dunked on, and he just keeps on jumping. So, hey, hats off to you. You know, he's brave, you know. But I said this before, bro. If Rudy Gobert is your second best player, you're not winning anything. It's the same thing with Miami. If Jimmy Butler is your best player, you're not winning. You're not doing anything at all.
I agree with that.
And that's just how I look at the Utah Jazz. And if you're going to trade someone, you got to trade Gobert. Problem is, though, with how much you're paying him, it's like a Russell Westbrook situation. Nobody wants to take that contract for a player that is limited. That's just kind of the reality of the situation. Difference is Rudy Gobert is way more limited.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Mm-hmm.
But again, if I'm Utah, if you're going to get rid of one, I get rid of Gobert. But again, if you want to be in a win-now situation, Jay, to your point, the best thing they might be able to get is picks. That's really the best thing they might be able to get.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So that's kind of be a little awkward. But then at the same time, you got to make the money match. So it's like, and how much are they going to have to give up to the point that it won't even be worth it anymore? So Utah might be in a situation where they're just stuck.
Well, fellas, you know something? With Utah, they're always like in the middle of the pack. Like right now, they are doing pretty well in the division. They're 13-1 in their division. They lost 5 games in a row, but because of the way they play, they're always in the mid-range. So therefore, they're not going to be able to get those top picks, as y'all are saying, because they're going to be in them. They're going to get the late 20s or early 20s picks. So it puts them in a very compromising position. Now, as far as Rudy Gobert, I agree with you all 100%. He's more defensive oriented. He doesn't have the offensive moves or anything of that nature, like the way Ayton has grown in the last couple of years, you know, and some of the other big centers like Embiid and Jokic and all them other guys. But, you know, I think sometimes y'all may disagree, and I'm sure Pride's going to disagree with me because he always does. I think that sometimes you have to keep your nucleus together to grow. You can't just be like getting people out. Okay, you got to go. He got to go because you have no establishment of continuity. And I think that the ownership doesn't want to spend a whole lot of money. So I think that it's going to have to come through free agency, not picks. Free agency. That's my take.
I just think like to what Pride is saying, and to his point, in today's basketball and day and age, you need a 1-2 punch. And Gobert is not a 1-2 punch. Gobert is a 1 and then maybe a 3 or 4 punch, but you don't have a 2 punch. And that's the problem with this team is outside of Donovan Mitchell, it's just role players. And in today's basketball, you've got to have that second guy that can give you the points, the rebounds, the assists, the whole package. And that's where like a James Harden and Embiid do well because you have a good 1-2 punch there. And I think and Gobert is just not that guy. And so maybe what you do is maybe you trade Gobert to a team like Orlando, who you know is probably going to be a lottery pick type team, and you pray God that you strike gold in the lottery.
There you go. There you go. That's one. Other than that, what can they do?
That's really about it. Because nobody's going to let go of Ayton. Nobody's going to let go of Joker. Nobody's going to let go of Embiid. You know, these are guys that are just they're just not going to happen.
But you don't even need that. You don't even need one of those caliber guys. You just need a competent center.
Oh yeah, no, I get it, and that's what I'm saying.
Like the only points he gives you is off cleanup. It's really it. That's all the points he gets from.
Absolutely.
It's crazy to me. At 7'1", you should be a dominant guy in the paint. I mean, your head's above everybody else. You should be the guy in the paint. And I don't think Gobert is aggressive enough in the paint to be that guy.
Well, just because he doesn't have any moves. That's all it comes down to. Question Pride, with the Celtics being the number 1 seed and with y'all missing our best player right now, you wouldn't trade for Rudy to keep the number 1 seed. So we're not the number 1 seed.
I think you're like 3?
But we're 4th because we lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, but he won last night, though, against Miami.
No, we lost.
No, Miami beat him.
You know,
did Miami win that game?
Yes,
no, we lost.
Sorry, Trav. Sorry.
Okay, I went to bed early. I thought they won.
Which, you know, I don't know why you're saying our best player is missing because he played yesterday.
Yeah.
Jason Tatum. He played. Unless you're trying to say Time Lord Robert Williams is our best player.
Oh, I don't think that's
Please
no.
leave. He's not. Now he's a very important piece, and it's gonna suck that he's down. Probably gonna miss him for the rest of the year. But no, I am not trading. Well, first of all, the trade deadline's passed, but let's say there's no trade deadline. I'm not trading absolutely, positively nothing for Rudy Gobert. I'm just not. Because there's really no point in me going out and trying to get me a Rudy Gobert when I already have a Rudy Gobert. And frankly, I already have a Rudy Gobert on my roster and Daniel Tice. Daniel Tice does a lot of the same stuff, except he's got a jump shot. He's got a 3-point shot.
Yeah, he can extend the defense as well. So I agree with you on that.
So it's like, maybe it's just me, but I don't know. I never understood this weird love affair with Rudy Gobert. And I honestly, I really just think it comes to people heard it on ESPN one time. And then instead of actually watching the game, they just say, "Yup, he's so great, he's so amazing." But when you actually sit down and watch it, the dude he's another Clint Capella.
Oh.
That's all he is. He's just a taller Clint Capella. That's it.
Yeah.
You're there to just jump, to hold down the paint, and then clean up. We'll give you a potential alley here and there, but
I mean, he is a rim protector. You gotta give him that. He's a rim protector.
What happened?
He said that he's also a rim protector.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like that's just his job. His job is to jump and be the rim protector. But again, at some point, I'm not gonna call you a top 3 player just because you're a quote rim protector. I get rim protection from a lot of other players in the league.
Right. And that's the thing. I mean, if you had like let's say Rudy Gobert and then you had obviously Donovan Mitchell, and then you had that third guy, maybe a DeRozan, I don't know, somebody that could give you that second punch. Then Rudy Gobert, all he had to do was get you the rebounds and the defensiveness. That would be okay. But who are you going to give up for picks or to even attract that type of free agent and still be able to keep Gobert? It's just not going to happen.
And to your point, remember when they were the number 1 seed, their number 2 guy wasn't even in the starting lineup. Their number 2 guy was Jordan Clarkson coming off the bench.
Yeah.
Oh,
when
yeah.
he won 6th man of the year. See, when that was happening, then there was really no pressure on Rudy Gobert. There was none at all whatsoever because he's like, okay, cool. Now I can just do my normal stuff and it'll be fine because in front of me, I got 2 guys averaging 20 in front of me at least. So I'm good. I'm chilling. But now Jordan Clarkson has come back to earth. Still a good player, but now he's not giving you that burst of what he gave you when he won Rookie of the Year. Now it's like, all right, you're the number 2. Step up. Unfortunately, he can't.
Right.
He can't. But again, I'm going to have the fanboys arguing with me. I mean, that's just really what it comes down to. They heard it on
you make great points. Y'all make great points. I can't disagree with y'all what you're saying. But again, what are they going to get for him?
I would just cut him.
He's a max contract guy.
But that's why I would cut him because, to be honest, you're not getting anything because nobody. I don't think anybody. Jay, you said Orlando. I don't think Orlando would even take that.
Yeah, I was just using Orlando as an example. They'd have to. The only way Rudy Gobert pans out in a trade is if you go to a team that's really terrible, where you can get a really good lottery pick to make something out of it, where you can get that center that you're looking for. And like you said, I don't think nobody out there that's in that position is going to do that.
But the thing is, if we're going to be honest, like those teams, if they go get a player of that with you got to pay that type of money. The only logical reason they would do that is just to be box office. Rudy Gobert is not box office.
No, he's definitely not box office.
He's not box office. So that's kind of where, like, me personally, it's like I don't know any of the younger teams, like the bad teams, would really take that risk on them. I mean, the only team I would say, and I can't believe I'm saying this, and I feel like I'm harping on, the only team I think who'll be dumb enough to plunge in on Rudy Gobert is Portland. Because they're just doing anything.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Anything.
He got nothing to lose.
I think Portland is literally the only guy or the only team that I think would logically plunge thinking it'll make them better. That's just how I look at it. But again, the problem with that is if you go to Portland, they would probably include Nurkic in the deal. And why would they want to get rid of Nurkic? Because the dude just can't stay healthy. So again, it's like one of the best moves you can possibly make would be to go get Nurkic. And guess what? Homie can't stay healthy.
Right.
Dude has more phones thrown in the crowd than he does games played. What am I supposed to do with that if I'm running a team? What am I supposed to do with that? I can't do anything with that.
Yeah.
So again, this is what happens when you overpay a guy that you think could, quote, pan out, and the logical people keep saying, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Logical people, I was one of the few people screaming, watch, in like 3 years, they're going to look stupid. Lo and behold, they look triple dog stupid.
Yeah, they really are going to be a mid-level team for a good period of time. I mean, honestly, that's just a fact.
There are 2 teams right now in the NBA that if they go 82-0, nobody would care. That is the Utah Jazz and the Miami Heat.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 teams that can go 82-0, and everybody will be like, yep, who cares? We're going to look at them the same way we look at the Boston Celtics when we had Isaiah Thomas and we were the number 1 seed. We're going to look at them the same exact way I think it was, 2015 when the Atlanta Hawks were the number 1 seed. And everyone was like, yeah, bro, y'all going to get smacked by Miami anyway. Like, that's how we're going to look at them. Why? Because unfortunately, top to bottom, it is what it is.
Hey, fellas, though, you got Gobert. He's averaging 15 rebounds a game and 3 block shots per game. Are you going to be able to get that somewhere else?
No, because you know what I would do? I'm willing to drop down the boards. I'm willing to drop that down for a center can go out there and get me 17 by making his own shots. That's what I would do.
Good. I can't.
Because like again, being a cleanup guy is the number 2. You're not winning. You're not winning like that. You're just not. Why do you think Houston got rid of Clint Capella? It wasn't working.
No, they got rid of Clint Capella to free up the offense, so Harden can do his thing. Clint Capella played in the paint. That's
Harden
why they got rid of him.
But Harden was shooting threes.
Right.
That's true. Harden was primary. There were a few times when Harden would isolate to the basket, but primarily Harden was a step back 3. Let's go.
Yeah. It was, and I wouldn't blame him because again, every time he did that, he would always get the call. So
right, true that. True that.
If you can get the call, just you might as well keep doing it.
Right.
You know, that's what I would do if I was him anyway. Frankie says a 3-team trade: Rudy to Portland. Portland gets Randall. Knicks get the Nurkic. Since the Knicks are ass. I don't know, man.
I'm not going with that one.
I don't know about all that. Honestly, I think you're gonna have to make. I don't know. Because the thing is, I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. Thank God I'm out of GM. Speaking of Julius Randle, though.
Oh.
Question I want to pose, because this situation has been bothering me. Has been. There are reports that he's kind of sequestering himself. He's kind of just, by himself and, basically acting, like a spoiled crybaby. People are comparing it to the whole James Harden situation when he left the Rockets. I want to try to say this in the nicest way possible, but I don't think it's a nice way. Who the fuck told Julius Randle he's that great of a player that he can just do this shit?
No, you know what told him that? The contract they gave him.
That is kind of true, though. They kind of
contract
validated
isn't even that crazy, though.
For him, it is.
For him,
what is his contract? What is his contract?
I mean, for him, okay. For him, yeah. Okay. Because I thought it was like a 3-year. I'm about to just fact check myself, but I thought it was a respectable contract. It wasn't nothing out of pocket. It wasn't anything too crazy. Yeah, it was a 3-year, $62 million.
So they're averaging about a little over $20 million. 20 million.
40 guaranteed at signing. Bless his heart.
That's not bad.
Bless his heart.
Now, and check it out, fellas. He's averaging 20 points a game, 9.9 rebounds, 5.1 assists.
But what's his field goal percentage?
Paper looks good. I don't think he's playing that well, but on paper, I hear you. You are right. Yeah, you are absolutely right. Up and down, up and down. Hey, it's tough playing in New York, man. It's not an easy place to play in New York.
And I think I don't know why he's handling it this way. By the way, Jay, because you asked what his field goal percentage was, it's whopping 41%. That's his field goal percentage. His 3-point percentage is 30%.
Yeah.
For me, maybe it's just me. I thought last year Julius Randle was solid. I liked him, right? When they gave him that the contract, I was like, I didn't mind it. I thought it's fine. You put yourself in a position where you can give him the opportunity to be the number 1. If he can't for some unknown reason, whether he just maybe last year was just a fluke, that's a possibility. Maybe it's just, people are just desperate to give New York a new star. The contract would be okay, where you can basically relegate him to a role player. And it's like, yeah, it's an overpaid role player, but it's nothing that kind of is making you look dumb. Right? It's just like, okay, yeah, he's a little overpaid, but it's not like you're blowing it out of proportion. It's like you're giving a max deal to a Kemba Walker type of deal. You know what I mean? I thought it was still fine, but this year is just, to me, he's been, and if I'm wrong, let me know. From the jump, I think since in my opinion, it's been about game 10 of the season, he has not wanted to be in New York. I think at least 80% of the season, he's been wanting to leave.
Yeah.
Prior to this, he's been wanting out, but he's scared to ask.
And it's reflective in his play.
Yeah. It really
It's reflective in his play. I mean,
I agree.
he's had like 3 games where he was just horrible. I think
Yeah.
Utah on the 20th, he went 6 of 21. Washington on the 18th, he went 6 of 22. And in Chicago on the 28th, he went 1 of 9. I mean, like you said, it's up and down, and that's indicative of him just not being invested in the process of the game and the team. I think he's just done.
You want to know what this reminds me of a lot? This reminds me so much of Isaiah Thomas. And the reason I say that is, if you remember, Isaiah Thomas was a solid role player. Goes to Boston, has 1 year, and all of a sudden the expectation was for him to be a superstar. This reminds me a lot of it because, again, Julius Randle, solid role player, he gave you respectable production, has 1 year where all of a sudden he helps revitalize the New York Knicks for 1 year. And then all of a sudden after that, the expectation was put on him that this is who you are, that this is what you do. This is now the new you.
Right.
And I think that pressure is starting to get to him because whether you want to admit it or not, regardless of how you look at it, there are levels in everything you do. There's levels to it, right? Some people are good. Some people are bad. Some people are okay, right? Some people are, you're okay. You're a transitional person. You're not bad. I think Julius Randle is in that okay range where you're okay, you're respectable, but you can always do better. I think people were just so desperate after that 1 year. And I'll be honest, I almost fell for it. Because going into this year, I was giving him the benefit of the doubt. I thought maybe he could be that guy. But I just think he had 1 year. People were so eager. And now look at him. He's just a role player to the point where RJ Barrett is not better than him.
And what y'all forget too, I think the front office should be given consideration. The fact is, they went and picked up 2 castaways from the Celtics, that being Fournier and Kemba Walker, who he's out for the season, whatever. Fournier is playing pretty well, but they paid a big price for those 2 individuals.
They did.
I mean, the Knicks are 34 and 43 right now. They're in a bad position. Now, let me ask you a question. Y'all know the game. When have you ever seen Randle go right or use his right hand? That is a detriment to his game. And everybody knows he can't go right. I think that's hurt his game overall. And as far as Price saying, he may not be ready to handle all the heat that's coming his way, the smoke, I agree. But you know something? I've been watching this game. Individually, his skills are not all that. He go left. Think about it. That's all he does is go left. So he hinders his progression of his own individual offensive game. And he's not a defensive player at all. We all know that. So that hurts them. And I think the Knicks front office plays a major role in how the Knicks, form their team.
And on top of that, to piggyback off what you said, because he said he never goes left. The only time he ever really goes left is when he wants to bait someone into fouling him. Right?
Yeah.
Like, that's when he'll go left. And I think this year, a lot of people are starting to notice that, which is why when he goes left, they play him a little more. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
Please go left all you want. We know you're not going to shoot it left.
Exactly. We know you can't finish with your, we know you can't finish. So matter of fact, we'll let you take that. And I'm just going to be here. I'm not going to try to do anything extra. I'm not even going to try to block it. I'm just going to contest because I know a simple contest will make you panic and then you lose the ball. And then either that's a turnover or just an ugly miss. And then we're good. You know.
Yeah,
So,
I think the Knicks. I think Knicks have just
Again-
found themselves in a world of hurt with the way they've gone about things. I mean, I feel bad for the Knicks. I mean, honestly, they just haven't really been able to put anything together in decades, man.
nope, they haven't. They really haven't. And you know, they said, "Oh yeah, you know, we they want to say, oh yeah, you know, they're trying to, you know, be smart and you know they want to be cautious with it," which I understand. But then at the same time, you do that, and you know, now look at them. God bless them though.
But to try to pull a Harden, I mean, that's a big stretch.
100%,
That's a big stretch, man. I mean, I think sometimes these guys, they get their heads over, or they just get too overinflated, man.
Yep, 100%. Keeping it with old basketball, the Phoenix Suns, by far is the hottest team in basketball.
Oh hell yeah!
They're on a 9-game win streak, 9-1 in their last 10. Best record not only in the West but in the NBA. They basically clinch home court advantage all throughout. They can go 0 for the rest of the year, and it literally won't matter. It had positively zero influence, zero impact on them whatsoever. In a 7-game series, is there any team that legitimately has a chance to stop the Phoenix Suns? I'm talking about a 7-game series.
Yes.
Who can?
Yeah, it's Milwaukee.
I got one better.
Yeah,
I got one better, yo. I
don't
got
know
one
how
better.
you get better than Milwaukee. I don't know how you get better than that, but okay.
Well, I'll tell you why, Jay. I'll tell you why, because I got the easy one. You got to remember, the reason they were struggling against Milwaukee, they didn't really have that much size. So it was putting DeAndre Ayton in an awkward position where he was in foul trouble a lot.
Oh, absolutely.
They fixed that. They fixed that. So now you got some versatile bigs on the bench that you can put in there and they can get in foul trouble and you'll be okay because you can still keep DeAndre Ayton all right. You know what I mean? Because I thought that was basically their biggest. I thought that was their biggest kryptonite that Milwaukee basically just exploited because why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? You might as well.
Hey, correction. Hey, let me ask you a question because I can't remember off the top of my head. Was McGee? Was he on their team last year when they went to or was he not on? Had he not joined them yet?
No.
Okay, so this is McGee's first year with them.
Yes.
McGee. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So let me double check them. Yes, because last year he was with Denver.
Okay.
He was with Cleveland and then Denver. So
because McGee definitely can help Ayton with that.
Yeah, and then you still have Bismack Biyombo,
Biyombo, you're right. Yeah,
Biyombo
as well.
I think the size, which was again what the Milwaukee Bucks kind of exploited, they fixed that hole. You know what I mean? So I think coming in this year, I think in a 7-game series, I think they're more confident. It still would be close though. It still would be close.
Right.
But in 7 games, I'm giving it to the Suns, probably 6.
Let me give you my take. First of all, I love the Phoenix Suns. I love the way that Chris Paul is playing, the way he plays. He has that great mid-range game. That follow-away is treacherous, and how he can get to the paint, do whatever he wants, and he brings leadership to that team. And they're fun to watch. They're young. Booker's playing out of his mind. Ayton's grown as a player himself. And then some of the people coming off the bench are playing very well. But fellas, I'm gonna let you know, y'all may hang up on me. Y'all better watch out for Memphis. Look how well they're playing without.
I get Memphis. I get it. That's the thing I was thinking too. I know Memphis is going to play hard during the Western Conference. I just don't know that Memphis has all the necessary pieces to compete with a team like the Suns. I mean, I just don't know. I don't think they do. I still think they're lacking a little bit. And maybe it's experience. I don't know, but I just feel like Phoenix has the edge over Memphis, and it's a very small edge.
For me, it's the experience. That's just really
and that's what I'm thinking too. I think it's more the experience.
That's what it is for me.
But no, I'm gonna disagree with you on that. I think sometimes experience is kind of overplayed. I'll give you my reason now. You know me.
Don't tell Derek Fisher that. Hey, don't you tell Derek Fisher that.
I hear you. But what I'm saying, I'm going to give you food for thought. Just check it out, fellas. You know, I'm old school. I'm old as dirt. Now, you all talking about experience. I hear you. Now, you're talking about a 7-game series, as Price says. Now, during that 7-game stretch, you're going to have major time to finalize who you're playing against, film, and everything else. And the fact, how much experience is experience? If y'all don't play 82 games, does going into the next year give you any more experience? To me, you play 82 games, you already been it. When you go to LA or you go to New York, you got the crowd. And me and Pride had a beef last time about the home court advantage. So what I'm saying is experience is great. It's great to have. But I'm saying with these Memphis, they don't care about that. They just don't care. And they're healthy. They're going to be, their bench is great. They got Brooks back, who is a beast. Brooks is a beast. Let me tell y'all, he's a beast. They got the best back up point guard in the league, Jones. So what I'm saying, watch out for Memphis. Phoenix, you know, I have my hot goes out because I love Chris Paul because old school like me. So my hot goes with him. But I'm telling you, watch out for Memphis. I'm letting y'all know right now.
Well, God, I'm glad you let me know because I was damn near going to overlook that one. Hey, question, Pride. Do you think, given Chris Paul's health, because, you know, he's a little older right now, and, you know, sometimes I kind of feel like, you know, I think maybe – do you think they maybe should load manage him a little bit getting ready for the playoffs so that way you have a healthy, fresh Chris Paul?
Absolutely. Because, Jay, like Price said, they already clinched. This is what's going to be great about Phoenix. They're going to be able to rest their players, load management. They're going to come in healthy. And as we all know, Chris Paul has had the reputation of getting hurt at the wrong time. Great as a player as he is, you know, my favorite player of all time is Isaiah Thomas, the real one, not the fake one, the real one. But Chris Paul comes as close to him as anybody I've seen, and I would love to have him, you know, end his career with a chip. But I'm telling you, man, I'm worried about his health during the playoffs. So to answer your question, load management, rest him, have him come strong in the playoffs. They proved they can win without him. Just like Memphis proved they can win without Ja.
Yeah, but if they can win without Ja, are you resting Ja Morant? No, you're not.
You're
not resting Ja Morant.
It depends what kind of. I mean, what they say is it his knees?
I'm not resting Ja Morant. I'm not resting.
But hear me out. What's his problem? Is it his knees?
He's gonna get back on the court, and you're gonna play. I mean, that's just how I look at it. You can't. At this point, you cannot afford to load manage anybody at this point. Middle of the year, sure. Right before playoffs, no.
What about if you already clinched a playoff spot?
Is that what?
Well, if you already clinched a playoff spot.
And Pride, what I mean by load manage, I'm not saying like he takes games off. What I'm saying is you just watch his minutes, like keep his minutes at a certain level until you get ready to go into.
Yes.
And then you can amp the minutes back up. He would still play every game just so he keeps the game time conditioning. But maybe you watch his minutes just so that way you have a fresher Chris Paul heading into the first game of the series.
I wouldn't. Because what's the point?
Remember Houston? Remember when Houston went against Golden State? Remember when Chris Paul got hurt?
Right, but then last year,
and then their chances went downhill. What I'm saying is Chris Paul has a tendency. Chris Paul has a history of when he overplays his minutes, he gets
injuries aren't because of like him needing a quote minutes restriction. That's not what it is. He's just old. It's just because he's.
I know that's my point.
But the problem is he can still play.
I get that.
That's the problem. So it's like, are you now going to sacrifice his production, which is great? What? So that way you can say, oh, yeah, he's going to get hurt?
No, I'm saying I sacrifice his minutes going into the playoffs. So when I go into the playoffs, I get a fresh Chris Paul to start
That's
off
healthy.
with. And, I'm not going to load manage his minutes in the playoffs, but I'm just saying leading up to the playoffs, I'm going to play him every single game, but maybe I don't play him 30 minutes. Maybe I only play him like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, you don't want to play him 30. I'm playing him 35.
Pride, you got to Pride. Come on now.
I'm playing
The man's 86 years old. You don't want to play 35 minutes a
Once you
game.
step on that court, you're healthy. I don't want to hear it. Period.
That's
just
Pride.
me.
Come
Once
on
you step
now.
that court, that's it. That's it. Period. You can run your team however y'all want. That's fine. Me, if you're healthy, you're playing. Period. I'm not paying you a badonk zillion dollars for you to pull a Kawhi Leonard talking about, oh, I can't play today. No, that's not.
No, and I'm not saying that he wouldn't play either. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying monitor his minutes.
I'm gonna get to your point. I'm not gonna pay you and tell you, yo, you got to give me 30 minutes per game, and then I hold you to 20. No, if you're healthy, you're gonna go out there, you're gonna hoop regardless. I don't. Like, if you're hurt, that's one thing. If you're healthy, I ain't putting no minutes restriction on you. That's just me. Because what's the point? Because last year they didn't put a minutes restriction on him, and he was fine in the playoffs. He was fine.
Until he actually got hurt in the playoffs, but he continued to play in the playoffs.
He got hurt.
He did get hurt last year. I remember that. He did get hurt.
It was his thumb or something.
Minor.
Yeah,
but everything with Chris Paul can be considered minor, but the man gets hurt regardless. I mean, he just has a knack in the playoffs. He just gets hurt sometimes. It just happens. It's got a history of it.
But they're
on a 9-game winning streak. Okay, so let's say, because they've been blowing teams out, except for last night. They've been blowing teams out. So what you're telling me is if they got a 20-point lead going into the fourth quarter, they're still going to play them. Because that's what you're saying.
110%. Because how many 25 points?
Here we go.
Okay, all right. As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted, how many 25-point leads have we seen blown this year alone? This year alone.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
So don't tell me going into the fourth quarter, just because you got a 20-point lead, everything's going to be straight. You can't tell me that, because how many times have we seen them this year alone? It gets blown literally just because one team just happens to get hot from the 3-point line specifically.
But that team is not Phoenix, though.
Is that what?
It's not Phoenix. They're not giving up 20 points. They're not doing that.
And you want to know why they're not giving up 20 points? Because they're going to the fourth quarter and Devin Booker's still on the floor.
No, we're talking Chris Paul, though. No. We're talking Chris Paul. We're not talking Booker.
You're going to leave your talent out there.
I agree.
If you're up 20 with 5 minutes left, that's a whole nother conversation. Going into the fourth quarter up 20, yeah, I'm not resting. Because as soon as I go, yeah, we got the win, I'm a blink. We got 2 minutes left and we're down by 10.
Not with Phoenix, though, Pride. Not Phoenix. The Lakers have done it. Other teams have done it. Not Phoenix.
Why doesn't Phoenix do it? Because they're one of the few teams who leaves their starting 5 in there. That's why they don't blow it. Because they leave their starting 5 in there. And this is when Chris Paul was healthy, too. They would, going into the fourth, they would still leave their starting 5. So that way,
even when Chris Paul was hurt, though, they weren't blowing 20-point leads or 10-point leads. They weren't blowing that kind of
That's all I'm saying.
And why? But why was that? Because
they had their other starting 4 in there.
Yes, they got a bench. They got a great team.
My point.
Right.
You're gonna leave your talent out there.
No, I get what you're saying, Pride. I'm not trying to argue that. I'm not trying to debate that. I'm just saying you can still keep it and load manage Chris Paul's minutes going into the playoffs and have a much better probably outcome and success rate in the playoffs.
That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Because if I got a horse like Chris Paul, and I know that I have to maybe slow down his minutes a little bit going to the playoffs, but I know the dividend of it is going to pay off bigger. And I want Chris Paul to play the entire playoffs. I want the best I can out of Chris Paul because I am paying him that money. But I do know that I have to be responsible with it. I have to be thinking cap on, and I have to load manage him his minutes. Not that he's not playing, but maybe I could have managed back about 10 minutes just to keep him fresh.
And best believe, you don't think Phoenix's coach is keeping an eye on
your point too, Pride. I don't want you to think I don't understand your point. I know you're.
I understand his point,
but the thing is like, because by that logic, they got to do the same thing to Clay.
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
For me, it's like you can't say it because if we're gonna be honest, like then everybody should be on a minutes restriction. That's kind of
I
like
never said
door
minutes
you're kind of
restriction. I
opening.
never. That
I
never
think
came out of my mouth.
I think it's a case by case, Pride. I think it's a case. Watch this. Let me say this. I think, like you already know, like you said it earlier when we first started this telecast, that Phoenix has already secured the best record. I already know that best record is secured, regardless of whether I win or not. That record's secure.
Right.
All I got to do now is coast, make sure my guys are healthy, make sure my guys are fresh, keep them playing their minutes, and then let's get the playoffs and let's do some damage.
That's right. That's all I'm saying. I'm with you. That's all I'm
you're
saying.
it like, but you also have to remember, bro. Devin Booker, like last year when they clinched, Devin Booker was mad as shit when they what I think it was like one of the last 2 games they lost. That literally had no merit whatsoever on the season. He got mad about it. You're playing with guys who have egos who want to still go out and win regardless. That's another aspect we got to pay attention to. See what I'm saying? So
I don't know, though, man. Do you think Chris Paul has that kind of ego, though? I mean, honestly, I don't think he does. I think
110%.
I think Chris Paul's a team guy, though. I think Chris Paul's a team guy.
I'm gonna tell you right now. You ask him right now what his crowning achievement is. If he doesn't win a ring, you know what he'll honestly say? What he did with OKC.
Oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, absolutely. I just want to say he should have got MVP that year.
Ego thing. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying it's bad to have an ego. To a point, everyone has an ego to an extent. You know what I mean? And especially when you're playing basketball at the highest degree,
right?
You're gonna have an ego, right? So I'm not saying that having ego is a bad thing, right? But again, I don't know, man. When
I think of Chris Paul, though, I always think a guy that puts team first. Like I always had him as a team first type of guy. And I think that's what made him so good.
When he was at Wake Forest, he's always been that way. Georgia Tech, wherever he was at. Here's the remaining games. Tell me what you think now. They played the Grizzlies. You know damn well he's going to play a lot that game. Then they go to the Thunder, who are 22-34. You think he's going to play a lot that game? Then they go to the dreadful Lakers. We don't know if LeBron's going to be playing that game or not. And then they go to the Clippers, although Paul George is back. And then they go to the Jazz, and then they go to the Kings. So out of those games remaining, I would say 3 of them are probably very easy. I think they have a tough time with Utah. I think they have a hard time with the Jazz, and obviously they have a big hard time tomorrow night. Games on NBA TV, by the way, against the Grizzlies. I think that's going to be a real tough game. And just to let you know, Ja did practice yesterday. So he may be coming back.
I don't know, man.
I mean, I agree with you. I understand where you're coming from as well, too, man. I just know that Chris Paul has a tendency in the playoffs to get hurt when his minutes are high. And I just don't want him to get hurt. I need Chris Paul the entire length of the way.
Yeah, I think it's a little different this time, solely because he doesn't have to be the number one guy. You know what I mean?
He doesn't have to carry the team.
Right. You know what I mean? Like the load that's on him is a manageable load. So I think that, which is why I think last year he was able to play through the playoffs for the most part. You know what I mean? Like the injury had, it wasn't nothing too crazy, but at the same time, you're not asking him to give you 25 and 10. You know what I mean? Like now, like the assists come naturally to him. Now you're kind of looking at him as like, look, give us a respectable 12.
Right.
And he can do
that. You know what I mean? Just all you gotta do is limit the turnovers, do your assists, get it, like you said, a manageable, point total, and we're good.
100%.
And I'll tell you this, man. I tell you right now, looking at this Phoenix Suns team and look at the rest of the NBA, if the Phoenix Suns, this is their year. If they don't get it this year, I don't know if they're not gonna get it. Yep. This is their year. Like this, honestly, is their year.
Yes, the 100. I believe if they don't win it this year, there'll be a playoff team. But we're not. I'm not gonna be looking at them unless they make a move. And obviously, it remains to be seen. For all we know, they could end up, getting Luka or something like that. God bless them if they do. But with this roster presently constructed, if they don't win it this year,
right?
I mean, there'll still be a playoff team, probably a top 4 seeded team. But in terms of actually winning it, I know Evan's he's gonna hate me for this one, but I I can't see them winning it after this year.
Right. I think if they don't win it this year, their credibility to win it goes down big time.
I think we're gonna start looking at them how we looked at the Clippers.
Yeah, I can say that. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean? I think people are gonna start looking at them that way. You know.
Yeah.
Not granted, I personally laughed at the Clippers, so like, you know, I was a little biased from the jump. But when it comes to Phoenix, like I like Phoenix and all, but I don't know if the planets are aligning for them to win this year. If they don't, it's like you had it all.
Right.
You didn't do it. Damn. Can y'all really run it back?
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good point. Good point.
Legitimate question. So, but again, you know, God bless them. God bless them. Yeah, I know you gotta take off, bro. But before you take off, the Final Four: Duke, North Carolina, Villanova, Kansas. I just want to throw it out there. Duke, please lose.
Man, why you put that salt on Coach K like that, man? Damn.
Man, you know what I mean? Here we go.
I have to say that because I got to be consistent. I didn't think this team. I thought this team was going to get stopped in the Sweet 16.
Oh, that's right. You did. You didn't think so. Yeah. So for you to be able to have any kind of like say so or credibility, you're going to need Duke
to be
not
consistent
winning.
now.
You know, if Duke wins it all, I'm never going to let you live it down. I'm going to be in their nightmares.
I don't hate Duke. Let me just get that out of the way. I don't hate them. It's just I thought Coach K retirement was going to put pressure on these kids that they couldn't handle. They've been handling it. They've been thriving on it. They have
been, honestly.
Bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a different team than we saw in the regular season. This Duke team is way different. But I can't bitch out. I can't. I'm a commit. I hope they lose. If they lose in the championship game, I don't even know how I feel about that because they still technically made it. So, you know. But again, Final Four, it's Duke, North Carolina, Villanova, Kansas. Jay, what do you think is going to be the championship game?
Oh, I absolutely think it's going to be Duke and Kansas. And the most beautiful thing about all of it, and I said that because they lost Justin. What's that one dude's name? The one that tore his Achilles, Justin Moore. I think.
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
They lost him. So that was a big part of their defense and rebounding and scoring. I mean, they lost a pretty good piece when he went down. So they're going to have to rally around and pick that up. And going against a Kansas team that's ferocious in the paint, that's going to be a hard task to achieve. It just is. So, and I look at Duke and I look at UNC. They split the games, each one in their road games. Neither one of the teams won in their home stadium. Now, and you got both teams on the road. It's going to be gritty as hell. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be North Carolina versus Duke, and it's going to be the Blue River shootout. And let's be honest, neither one of these teams has ever played against each other in this level and this magnitude. And for Coach K to lose his final home game, then to beat North Carolina and make it into the final, I mean, how beautiful of a sunset send-off is that? And then to win the national title, if he can do it over Kansas, oh, my God. That's orgasmic.
And here's the thing. If he does it over Kansas, think about it. This last year has basically been against like his last run has been pretty much against teams that he's kind of had a link with, right? Like,
yeah,
Michigan State, you know, there's always been like a little link between there. Arkansas, now North Carolina, you know what I mean? Now, let's say he ends up having to play Kansas. Like, it's just interesting how his final run, it's almost as if, you know, things are almost kind of coming like full circle, you know? It's like things are now, it's funny. It's like the best way to end it is how you begin type of thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. I will say it again. Fuck Duke. North Carolina.
Please,
don't let me down. I've been talking so much crap, bro, that like if Duke would, I am like the most like I'm not even a Duke hater, but like I'm coming across as one. I gotta be consistent. North Carolina, don't let me down. If you do, I'm moving. And then
I gotta be honest with you, if Duke beats North Carolina, the first person I'm talking to is Pride.
Must stop backing up now. Backing
Hey,
up.
listen, I don't care if my wife wants to talk to me. I don't care if my child wants to talk to me. I am going on a straight silent sabbatical until I talk to Pride. He's going to be the first person I speak to. I may even do a FaceTime. Hey, I may even do what's that thing that a Facebook Live conversation with Pride. I don't care where Pride's
right
at.
there. Oh, I'll be right there. Pride, pack your stuff up now, bro. Pack your stuff up now.
Technology.
Damn, you got the comment from New Bedford putting it. You know they bring kneecaps in New Bedford, so you better watch out.
You damn right.
Look,
We from the hood, bro. That's what we do.
I'm taking North Carolina, and then I'm gonna take Kansas. The reason I'm gonna take Kansas is honestly Justin Moore, like the torn Achilles.
That was terrible.
For me,
That was terrible.
I think that's really what it's gonna basically come down to. I think his absence is gonna be felt.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be felt immensely because one thing about
gonna have to step up. Gillespie's gonna have to step up even more.
And the thing is like when it comes to Justin Moore, what I like about the kid, his versatility, I like. He's smart, he's got great hustle. Like a lot of the stuff he brings to the table is like untangibles, bro. And it's like in a game like this is where you're truly gonna miss all of it. You're really gonna miss it bad. And I think that's honestly what's gonna cause Villanova to end up losing, to be honest with you. Yeah. I really do. I feel like his impact on this team, it's gonna be something crazy.
I think you're right.
Like him not being there.
I definitely think you're right.
I think it's gonna go, and all the people who just are not fans of Kansas, they're gonna use this as an asterisk because that's just how it is. But I got North Carolina versus Kansas in the championship game. One more time, fuck Duke.
All right, can I give hey, Jade's gonna have me on this one. Pride, give me a minute. Just give me a minute. Okay. This is the reason why my hat goes out to Duke. I'm not gonna tell you the year because I'm old as dirt. But I got invited to the Boston Celtics camp. It was in Marshfield, Mass. Outdoor log cabins. Kevin McHale was there. Larry Bird was there to do clinics and stuff. Anyway, what they did was they took the top 16 counselors at the time, and they would take the top 8 to play against the Celtics rookies. That year was a guy by the name of David Thurko. You can look him up. But anyway, the reason why I'm bringing it up because the second day we have a whole log cabin full of kids, and it's raining, so we can't go out on the court. We can't do a damn thing. So what do? We watch film, we watch highlights, and we see lectures. And guess who was the lecturer on that day? Mike Krzyzewski. But he wasn't with Duke. He was with Bobby Knight at Army. So I go back that far. I'm gonna tell you my age. I go back that far, so I have that kind of heartfelt thing, and I think that he's had a Cinderella career, long-term longevity. I think his players are gonna play their heart out for him. I think he's gonna go out in style. That's what I think. So I'm rolling with Duke. I believe it's gonna be Duke and Kansas in the final, and I'm rolling with Duke.
So, Sam, first of all, welcome.
Yeah.
This is the first time you're here.
Yeah, thanks.
This is the first time we're actually meeting.
Yeah.
I thought everyone was like, "Oh yeah, you got to meet Sam," and I thought you were a myth. I thought you were like the
I'm an
locker sponsor,
illusion.
right? And I finally get to meet you. Thank you for being on.
Yeah.
Just to catch you up.
Yeah.
Everyone is saying it's going to be Duke versus Kansas. My quote is literally quote "fuck Duke." And I'll go with North Carolina and Kansas. Now let me just explain why I don't have Duke. I don't hate Duke. You can ask Jay.
No, he will hate Duke if they get to the final. If they get to the championship game, he will absolutely, unequivocally hate Duke and go out there and burn the Duke flag in effigy.
Okay,
He's gonna have to pack his bags.
I might be upset. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm gonna tell you why. I just thought that Coach K, his retirement. I thought how the regular season looked. I just thought it was gonna put a lot of pressure, and I didn't think they were gonna be able to handle that because the the NCAA tourney, that's some pressure, right? Then when you have one of, if not the greatest collegiate basketball coach ever announcing I'm out. That's the type of thing. Like, and during the regular season, there were a couple games that they lost was just because they were tentative, and it was like they would have the ball and they were just swinging the ball around because they were like, I'm not going to be the reason we lost. Like, I'm not going to miss a layup, miss a minute. I'm not going to do any of that because I don't want to be the reason we lost. Because, like, for instance, like Kentucky, right? When they got bounced, you can go to John Calipari and say, all right, coach, look, that's on us. We got you next year, right? You can say that.
Well, some of them.
You can't say that to Coach K. You can't go up to someone and be like, yo, coach, we got it next year. Aw. Like,
right. I hear what you say. I hear you say.
I thought the pressure was going to get to them, right? I had them out in the Sweet 16.
As did I. As did I.
Okay, yeah. But so.
Hey, guess what? You know who didn't? This guy.
Well, and let me jump in. Let me jump in on this real quick. Is I would not disagree with you, Pride, except for I think one loss did light the fire under them, and that was the last game against North Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely. Cameron Fieldhouse put it on them.
If they would have beaten North Carolina in that last game, I think they lose to Texas Tech. But I think that they lost that game. Realized what they had done. They had over 500,000 points in Cameron Indoor watching that last game. That's pressure. That's huge pressure.
Yes,
they don't have that anymore because they've let him down once in his last game. And now they are playing basically with house money, in my thought, because of that game. They know the disappointment. They're not going to let him down again. I wouldn't be shocked if North Carolina wins, but I don't think they will.
Nope.
Wow. I mean, because
I will tell you that. I'll tell you what, though. Hey,
Hey,
Pride, this game is going to have about as much magnitude, in my opinion, maybe a little bit more magnitude than the UNC Stanford game in women's. Because that is going to be one gritty, nasty game, especially since UConn just came out that double overtime win. I'm just saying, the women's basketball, look, I don't particularly follow women's basketball a whole lot, but I know that this Final Four in women's basketball is going to be nasty. It's going to be Dawn Staley, South Carolina, Louisville. It's going to be nasty. And that's how I feel about that's how I feel about men's basketball than the men's Final Four. And I'm sorry, but like you said, you're going up against Kansas. And if you don't have one of your best players going up against Kansas, you're not going to win. It's an all hands on deck.
Right.
And you know what? You know what? Jay Wright, after Coach K, is the best coach in the country. I hands down. You could argue anybody, but and let's stay with me on this. If Villanova wins the national title, that's 3 in 6 years. There's no other coach that has that.
Yeah,
I agree. To think that Villanova, but the point being is I don't think that injury kills Villanova. And Jay Wright's a hell of a coach. He's a hell of a coach, but the people that are stepping up have been injured. So it's basically a mash unit right now. Yes. So I think Kansas.
I'll tell you one thing though: if Villanova beats Kansas, oh my Lanta! Oh, talk about people going nuts and crazy. That's going to be crazy.
Duke Nova and honestly, people are going to probably hate me because I'm just not seeing North Carolina winning it.
I'm not either. Sorry, Pride.
But Duke Nova, that's what a last game for Coach K, win or lose. That's a heck of a matchup right there. And I think it's the coronation to Jay Wright being the best coach in the country if he were to beat Coach K.
I don't know. Hey, Sam, but what carries more weight? A Duke win over Kansas or a Duke win over Nova? I have a Duke win over Kansas being more prolific than the Nova.
Honestly, it probably, but at the same time, this year for Kansas to be a number 1 seed, they've overachieved to get to that 1 seed. And then it kind of that region kind of opened up to where they didn't. They it wasn't handmade for them and the way was given to them, but they had kind of a easy way to get to that Final Four. I could see either way. I don't see Duke losing, no matter who they play, but I think probably Kansas, if you go all time, would be definitely the better, more prolific matchup.
Right. I'll tell you, man, what a great time to be alive for sports. We had a hell of a good Super Bowl run and all the competitiveness in football. Now we're getting all the severe competitiveness in college basketball on both sides of the fence. And I mean, the only thing that can make this trifecta better would be a great NBA and a great baseball season. I mean, but what a time to be alive for sports, man.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
I agree.
Speaking of baseball, Cody Bellinger got to get it together, bro. I don't know.
I agree with you.
It's spring training.
But
he goes through 3 weeks of that in the regular season, then you start worrying.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, I'm a Cubs fan, so therefore I've seen the Cubs go 25-4 in the preseason and then be just a dumpster fire come the season.
And then you can also say the other vice versa.
Correct. I've seen players do the same thing,
and then just light it up.
Yeah. So I say hold that thought, because you're not wrong necessarily, but it's one of those that you've got to give it some time in the regular season to see if he's gonna be the same dumpster fire he's been spring wise.
Hey, fellas, I have one question for y'all. Is it because of Ohtani, or is it because of Major League Baseball is trying to grow, but now they allowing Ohtani to, not just him, to pitch? Then he comes out the game, he can still play as a DH.
Oh yeah, no, it's because of Ohtani, the Shohei Ohtani.
I don't want to say that though, but yeah, I don't want to say it.
Yeah, but when the pitcher is taken out, he can still bat. I do like that. I really do, because there were times where they would let Shohei be in the game pitching longer than he really should have to be, just so he can get that last at bat to keep him in the game. So I think now it's more strategic, because now he can now pitch 6 innings, right? You can give him like 6 innings, and now you can have him rest, and now you're more comfortable, and you're now in a position where he doesn't have to blow his arm out. He doesn't have to throw 120 just so he can get that 4th at bat.
So is it he can be both positions? He can be the pitcher and the DH in the lineup. Is that what it is? Okay.
Yes.
Correct.
Basically, yeah. So when he's the pitcher, right? Since it's like the universal DH type of thing.
Correct.
He would be the DH in the lineup, and then he'd be the pitcher. So what they would do is, if I read the rule right, while he's pitching on the score sheet, it'll have P for pitcher, right? When you do the positions or whatever. And then when he transitions to the DH, then they would have DH. I think they're going to start calling it UDH, like universal DH, which I think will be whatever.
So is it going to be one of those that if he hits 2 home runs as the pitcher, it'll go down as pitcher hitting stats, and then
basically
DH hitting?
Good question.
That's basically like Pandora's box are kind of opening up.
Yeah.
Because you know what I mean, you're kind of switching, but
he could be the greatest hitting pitcher of all time with that. With that,
and it's crazy because before him, the greatest hitting pitcher, like in recent memory, I'm saying recent because all time it was probably Babe Ruth, but in a recent was Madison Bumgarner. Let that sink in, bro. Madison Bumgarner was like the greatest hitting pitcher in recent memory.
Jake Arrieta was
Shohei Ohtani, who, according to Stephen A. Smith, can't speak English, right? He can't speak English. Meanwhile, the man done interviews in English, but you know what? Pop off, Stephen A. Pop off. But I just want to touch real quick, Sam, because I'm gonna tell you why his struggles are concerning to me. There's a couple reasons. So first, it's based on what happened last year, right? Like last year was a horrible year. And luckily, the Dodgers are just stupidly stacked, so they were able to go right. Like,
and they're still stupidly stacked, though. Too.
We said what?
They're still stupidly stacked.
Right. Somehow you got even more stupidly stacked.
Right?
Like why? Like how? Like how you get Freddie Freeman? God bless him. Live your life. Do his.
I'll tell you how they got Freddie Freeman is the Braves didn't even talk to him. That's how.
Let this sink in. Your guy who you say we want back. We're gonna trade for Matt Olson and take your spot and not let you know.
And not tell you about it. Yeah, that is the kicker.
That's crazy.
What are you doing, bro?
You can't do that. That's crazy.
But like, it's that. And just 2 years ago, Cody Bellinger was one of, if not the most prolific bat in all of baseball. Now what I'm seeing, he's changing everything, and that's what scares me. When you're a batter and you change your stance, something is not right.
You think it's more of a mental thing then? Like, he's trying to figure it out. So it's something here. So obviously he's not seeing it. So he's going to changing the stance, the swing, all that.
Yeah. And my thing, I think he's panicking. And what I think is sometimes we got to remember, he got hurt last year. What I think truly happened was his slump was because of the injury. But I don't think he thought that the injury was that serious. So in his mind, he's like, okay, I'm doing something wrong. So he starts trying to fix stuff and he starts trying to tweak his things. Now, like the way he's batting is weird. Now he's like, he's basically changing a whole bunch of stuff. Like his step, it was just like a generic step you would see on MLB The Show, right? Then he started doing inside and outside, which if you've ever played baseball, stepping inside and outside, that is extremely different. Because not only does it control whether you push or pull the ball, but it dictates your timing, right?
Sure.
And then I just feel like a lot of his things, like he's no longer using his eye, which he had one of the best eyes in the game. He would be able to tell whether or not, okay, ball strike or whatever. He is now kind of just like hacking and hacking and hacking. What he is doing is what the Yankees are doing. He's playing like a New York Yankee where it's like home run or bust. Like that's what he's doing. And it's like, you shouldn't be doing that because you have great contact too. You know what I mean? And then you couple that with, like I said, he's changing everything. It's like, to your point, Sam, I think it's something mental where, like, if you were to go to ask Cody, look, bro, you're hitting a struggle. What's going on? If little Vladdy in Toronto, if he's going through something, he would say, I just can't see it for some reason. For some reason, the ball, if I get hit with a slider, the break is, I'm catching onto it late. He'll give you something, right? If you tell Mike Trout, it's like, I'm just a second behind. My reaction is just slow, but I know you'll be able to have guys. For instance, Xander Bogaerts. You know what? It's just the way I'm stepping. I'm trying to pull it, but I'm stepping in. So I need to fix it. If you were to ask Cody Bellinger, he would just look at you and go, I'm in a slump. It's okay to tell the media that you're in a slump. It's fine. But if someone in your ball club, like if your manager, if the hitting coach, heck, even the pitcher's coach comes up to you and says, hey, bro, what's going on? And you say, I don't know, I guess I'm in a slump. That's a red flag. Especially when you're a great, like, let's be honest, Cody Bellinger's a great hitter. You know what I mean? So that's why for me, like, and also he's heading into a very dangerous narrative. A lot of people are starting to say that he's becoming overrated and we're trying to put him on a pedestal after 1 year, after that one MVP year. Whoa. He's starting to enter that narrative. Wow. I personally don't believe it. I don't. I just think what happened was he got injured. And then instead of associating it with the injury, he just thought that he needed to mess with his mechanics. And I think that's kind of what's kind of derailing him a little bit.
Well, and one thing you got to consider is
go ahead, Sam.
What I was going to say is, and I apologize for cutting off, but one thing you got to consider is he's not telling the media anything. So the only thing worth seeing is what he did last year compared to what he's doing this year, and it's very comparative. Maybe he went into the offseason and totally revamped. And then, just as much as I do, you have to put things into practice, into live game situations. He's got to get that muscle memory down. He's got to get those things down. So that's why I say in the spring, don't take any account into it. Wait until you get to the regular season, where if he's still the dumpster fire he's been, that's when you think, okay, then there's something wrong. Because he may be putting those things into action now, and he's just getting like you said, if you screw with your feet, that changes your vision. He's got to get live pitching to be able to see that new vision, and maybe by opening day, first couple of weeks, he starts hitting his stride.
So how long would you give him, like in the regular season? Like would you give it a month or something, or
2 to 4 weeks? 2 weeks to a month. I mean, because everybody knows you're out of 162 games, and I think they're playing 152 this year. Didn't they cancel 4 series or something like that? So you take it down to 150 even. Every team's going to win 50, lose 50. It's what you do with the other 50. So you can afford to have Bellinger, especially with the stacked roster you've got, do that in some games that matter. Now you get to a month where they've played 35 games. That's when you start worrying if he's still the dumpster fire he's been.
Okay. All right. Because, I'll be honest, man. And again, I'm not a Dodgers fan at all. So I'm
not either.
I have no skin in the game. But I will say, being a Dodger, like if I was a Dodgers fan, I would be concerned.
Oh,
right?
sure. Absolutely. Absolutely, you are.
But the thing is, you can't ask a Dodgers fan because, let's be honest, Dodgers fans, especially the last 5 years, are almost as bad as Yankees fans, where it's like you need to be good and you need to be good right here, right now. No excuses. We don't care what's going on. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? So, like,
right.
I don't want to ask a Dodgers fan because I feel like once I do that, it's gonna open up like, oh yeah, well, he needs to get it together, da da da. And I mean, if I'm Cody, maybe it's just me. I go back to my MVP swing. I go back to my MVP swing. That's just me. Again, whatever happens, but I do believe 100% that it's definitely concerning. But ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, run a couple commercials, and we will be right back.
Get ready. This summer, the Arena League Sports is on ASAP Network. Tune in live on either the Tiki Live or Roku app, as well as your smart home TV.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Network. We on top of our game. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.
So we are back. Definitely, if you are a Dodgers fan, be on Cody Bellinger alert. 2 more things we got to talk about today. 2 more. First and foremost, new overtime rule for the NFL. I guess they all got mad about the whole situation where the Kansas City Chiefs, beat poor Bills. So now, by the way, this whole thing was led by the Colts and the Eagles, who was leading the whole charge. God bless them. But now both teams will get an opportunity to touch the ball in overtime. However, it would be a situation that only happens in the playoffs. If it comes from it in the regular season, it won't matter. If Team A scores, Team B has an opportunity to score. If Team B scores, it is now sudden death. If Team A doesn't score and Team B scores, the game is over. With all that being said, Michael, is this a good idea to change the overtime rules?
Well, I was looking at this a little bit previously, and a lot of fans are saying that the game is going to be better because it's no longer based on just a coin toss. So in order to have 2 teams to be able to score, I think it's more beneficial for the game. I didn't like the way the overtime rules were the last couple of years. I think it's a great thing for the NFL. That's what I think. I mean, it doesn't base everything on a coin toss. You know what I'm saying?
Well, to an extent. I mean, my thing is like, if you don't want them to score, stop them.
I hear you. Correct. That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line.
So it's like, I don't think it really matters like who wins the coin toss. It's just like, stop them.
I'm with you on that.
The one thing I do like was the fact that it's just in the playoffs. So It's not like regular season. You gotta keep on making sure that these guys, go back and forth in a regular season game. luckily, it's not the case. It's for playoffs. If Team A, like I think whoever wins the coin toss doesn't score, and then Team B does, there's overtime is over. If another team scores, then it goes to sudden death. So now it's like the next team scores, wins. So I mean, for me, it's like fine. I get it to an extent, but I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just the way I'm looking at it, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not, but because I always feel like you're opening up Pandora's box when you're doing this, because as soon as you do that, then the one team, let's do the Chiefs and the Bills, right? The Chiefs score and the Bills score, then the Chiefs don't score and the Bills score. The game is over. Then the Chiefs are gonna be like, "Oh, you see, we should have had the old overtime rules." And then that's really how.
That's true. That's true.
What up, Rob? How you feeling, bro?
Oh, Rob's in the building. What's going on, bro?
Yo.
So, Rob, I don't know if you heard about the new overtime rule.
I haven't.
By the way, Chicago sucks.
And
damn, Pride.
Hey, that stands for Pride. Good to see you.
But I don't know if you saw the new overtime rule for the NFL, right?
I have not. What's going on? Talk to me.
So now each team. Now this only happens in the playoffs. In the regular season, it stays the same.
Okay.
But in the playoffs, both teams get the ball,
regardless of touchdown.
Regardless. So let's say, I'm gonna use the Chiefs and the Bills, right? Because this is basically like the game that kind of changed it. Yeah. So let's say the Chiefs win the toss and they score a touchdown. The Bills have an opportunity to score a touchdown. If they score, it now goes into sudden death, which is basically the next score wins.
Okay.
Me personally, I'm not really a fan of it. Only because I feel like you're kind of opening up Pandora's box, because if the Chiefs score and then the Bills score and then the Chiefs don't score and then the Bills score, then someone on the Chiefs is going to be like, oh, yeah. And by the way, I'm not saying the Chiefs specifically. I'm just using their team as like the stand-in or whatever.
Because we saw that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're going to end up being like, oh, yeah, if it was the original rules, we would have won. Right?
Yeah.
But, Rob, how do you feel about the overtime rule change?
I don't like it. I think it should have stayed the same. Like, I feel like you get 15 minutes a quarter, to make your stand and to win the game. If it goes into overtime, I feel like first touchdown should win. Like, we played enough football with that 60 minutes of football. It came down to, mano a mano. Neither one of us can get the upper hand. We get into overtime. Now I think you just, like you said, you opening Pandora's box. You doing too much, because at the end of the day, it goes into sudden death. Doesn't it really turn back into the original rule? If you looking at it from that standpoint, you score, I score, you score, I score.
Sudden death,
winner, it's sudden death. Next touchdown wins. It's stupid to me.
I mean, and honestly, like, and personally, my thing is, you should, like, we need to stop ignoring defense. It's kind of like where I'm coming from a little bit, because at this point, you're now rewarding a team who has a bad defense, and you're kind of giving them an out, so to speak.
Yeah.
And my thing is, you shouldn't have that out. If you have a bad defense, it's gonna get exploited. That's just how it goes.
That's what happens.
Right. So it's like, if you win the coin toss, you know what I mean? Like, force to stop. And don't tell me it's impossible, because I've never seen a game where, well, I can't say that because I have seen one, but more times than not, the defense can force a 3-and-out.
Yeah.
Unless you're the New England Patriots playing Buffalo in the playoffs, but that's neither here nor there, right? The only time they didn't score a touchdown was when they decided not to, which is like, no, hey, I hate this. But I mean, for me, it's like, people are saying, oh yeah, it's predicated on luck, but so is the opening touch. So what's the difference there?
Right. See, I always understood the rule of, if you kick a field goal, in overtime, then I have a chance to score.
Yes,
I get that.
because you have the opportunity to score more points.
Right. You wasn't able to go down there and get the ball in the end zone. However, if I get the ball in the end zone in overtime, I feel like the game should be over. That's just me. You couldn't stop me. We couldn't stop each other during, the regular possession and regulation. And if we get to overtime, this is not basketball. Even in basketball, you only get 5 minutes. Like, we're not going back to the full 12-minute, quarter. Got 5 minutes to do what you got to do. You know what I mean? So, I don't like it. I don't like that.
All right, fam, let me tell y'all something real quick. It says much of the NFL, including their fans, have not been too keen on the overtime rules. We have seen teams possibly robbed of winning games if they would have had a chance with the ball. On Tuesday, the NFL overtime rules will now be changed for the foreseeable future. Now, Rob, because Brad knows everything. So both teams in the overtime will have the opportunity to possess the ball in overtime in the postseason. If the score is tied after each team has possessed the ball, the next score wins. If the team kicking off to start the overtime period scores a safety on the receiving team's initial possession, the team that kicked off is the winner.
I can respect that.
That's it. I
can respect the safety rule because now you're rewarding the defense. But to piggyback off what Pride said, you can't let the defense off the hook. If we get into overtime and you can't stop this team and force a 3 and out.
That is correct. Pride's right on that one. He absolutely correct.
I don't believe
like the damn game.
Right.
Stop him.
Because obviously you had to make some type of stop.
Yeah, stop
the game to force the game into overtime. There had to be a stop there. So you've proven that your defense can force a 3 and out.
Exactly.
I just don't believe in that. I don't believe in letting, because now I feel like NFL is trying to appease to the crybabies or like we say to the casuals. Like, yeah, okay, if your team can't stop, let's use Kansas City, in that instance. You can't stop Kansas City, then that's your problem. That's your defense's problem.
Yeah, I'm in.
Because all you have to do is either force a 3 and out or force them to a field goal, and then you get the ball.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like over like that. Like, that's not the key. If you just force the field goal, you have that option.
Yeah.
You still have the option to go out there. And again, in the playoffs, if you kick a field goal, the playoffs can't end in a tie. So you're making your own sudden death right then and there.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's why me personally, I don't understand, because people are saying, oh yeah, the offense should be able to, get the thing, da-da-da. And my thing is, okay, the defense should also get rewarded though.
Right.
So don't like, we gotta stop pretending like it's just offense.
You do realize there's 22 people.
Exactly.
So now you just get mad at the other 11.
Exactly.
Yeah.
If my defense stops your offense, don't sit here and complain talking about, oh my God, it's not fair. No, bro. Like, period. And same thing, vice versa. If my offense beats your defense, don't cry about it. Stop me.
That's something about it.
If you can't,
that is correct.
You don't 100%. Deserve to win. That's what it comes down to.
Good point. You put the onus on the team.
Like,
stop them.
Like, I'm not gonna make rules to bail you out because you couldn't handle your job that you get paid to do.
Yeah.
Let's
talk about the elephant in the room. Like, I get that a lot of people were disappointed in the Chiefs game versus the Bills because you know both teams play so excellent. You didn't want to see either team lose. However, it is what it is, y'all. Somebody has to lose the game.
Right.
That's just
that's the reality of the situation.
That's reality.
Regardless of who you're a fan of, there's gonna be a winner. Damien says, how is it fair though if only one team touches scores and the other team doesn't get a chance? And here's what I'm trying to say.
Because you do get a chance. All you have to do is force a field goal.
And again, you're saying one team scores. Okay. You're acting like the team is scoring and there's no defense. The other team has an opportunity to stop them. They have the opportunity. If they can't force a 3 and out, if they can't force a turnover, if they can't force a punt, if they can't force a field goal, whose fault is that?
You deserve to lose.
Who's
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm
Whose
with you.
fault is that? Is it my fault? No, I'm the fat dude just sitting eating potato chips on my monitor watching the game. So it's not my fault. Is it?
I agree.
Whose fault is it? You can't blame the offense because the offense's job is to score. So who are you blaming? You blame the defense. Then
Correct.
Says, Rob, you do realize in the NBA the overtime rule is allowing teams to score until the clock hits 0. So I don't see how it's fair for these other sports to do it. But y'all hate the NFL to do it.
Well, you got to understand the NBA is a faster paced game.
Correct.
You can score a lot easier in the NBA.
Wait,
Oh,
and
absolutely.
not only that, it's like overtime is what, 5 minutes?
It's 5
Yes.
minutes.
It's 5 minutes, right? How many it's 5 minutes, right? Like in overtime with a 24-second shot clock.
Yep.
Right? You're going what, 94 feet
Yeah.
to go from one baseline to the other? Now I'm gonna shrink it to 92 because the baseline is behind the hoop. So let's say 92 feet to go from backboard to backboard. You do that. I feel like you might be able to score a little quicker than it would be. Let's just say for shits and giggles, for the sake of this argument, let's say it's a kickback, a touchback. You're on the 25-yard line,
Mhm.
75 yards.
Yeah.
What is faster to go through? 25 or 75 yards or
92
94
feet.
Mathematics, bro.
Yeah.
Quick maths.
Pure and simple.
Mathematics,
I'm with you.
bro. It's
And also the fact
mathematics.
that in the NBA, the transgression and back and forth, you got the opportunity to score
Yeah.
at your will
Yeah. All you have to
Many
do in
more
the NBA is
opportunities.
go on a run.
at a faster pace.
You go on a 7-0 run in the NBA in overtime.
Hey.
You pretty much won overtime.
It's over. Yeah,
There
for the
you
most
go.
part, it's over.
That's it. That's
For the
it.
most part. So it's like and they ask, oh, how is it fair? It's very fair. Matter of fact, you're asking how it's fair for one team to not touch the ball. How is it fair to the how is it explain to me how is it fair for the defense?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And
Like, think about
everybody's
it. If
thinking about the other team. How is it fair to the offense of the team that just went out there and scored in overtime?
scored.
Like we went out there and scored a touchdown. Now you telling me I got to put the fate on the other? We took our fate in our own hand.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
We
I'm
went
with
out
you.
there and we did what we supposed to do. We got in overtime. We received the ball. We scored the touchdown. Game should be over. You know, and this is what I'm saying, you know, and no offense to people like you, Damien, but this is why the NFL changed the rule. Because you guys, it's not fair. It's not fair. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Life ain't fair.
Say it. Say it.
Preach, my brother. You are right. Fair enough.
Life is about winning and losing. Which one you want to be on?
There's winners and there's losers. And that's it. That's just the reality of the situation, bro. Just like the yin and yang, bro. That's just the reality of the situation.
That's it.
Like,
And it's
Like,
sad
we-
that
listen.
people are taking away the integrity of the game, bro.
exactly. Like, think about it. We all want, let's be honest, we all want, right? Like everything to be perfect, right? Right. We want kids to be able to go to college and be able to live fulfilling lives. We want fathers to actually care about their kids, right?
Mhm.
We
Right.
want people to
Yeah.
not go out and commit crimes. We
Right.
want every single storybook that happens. We want that to be real life where everyone gets a happily ever after.
We don't want people on the street homeless. We don't want,
No.
you know, people in
No.
war. We don't want people out here that's starving and hungry.
No,
But
Yeah.
the fact of the reality is
it's
that
life.
it is what it is. It's like that out here.
It's life. It's life. Don't hit me with this
Fact.
nonsense about, oh, it's not fair. How is it? Like,
Fact.
explain to me. Like, bro, we need to pay attention to defense. We need to start paying attention to defense. Don't sit here and sell me this crock of shit talking about, oh, yeah, man, you know, it's not fair to the offense. Who cares? Who cares? Go score. The offense has every advantage possible. They know the play. They know where they want to go. Bro,
Exactly.
bro, if a DB sneezes, it's a flag. The offense has every advantage imaginable. And
Every
you want to
advantage.
give them another one?
Absolutely.
Every advantage. You
Absolutely.
can braid somebody face mask as a face
Yeah.
mask. You can pull on a jersey too hard. You can hit a quarterback. I'm talking about, I done seen defensive backs give quarterbacks legit hits, and because of how hard they hit them, they get a rough in the passer. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
dude, like It's football. You do realize this is a sport where you're gonna get touched.
Well, that's the Tom Brady rule. That's the Tom Brady rule. You don't know that.
I think it was this year. I think it was Kirk Cousins. He literally just got dragged down. Like, I can't remember who, but they literally just had him and they literally just dragged him down and they threw a flag. And they said roughing the passer. I'm like, look, at this point, y'all got to figure it out.
Yeah, I think Justin Fields got one of those calls. You know, and I'm a Bears guy, but he just got hit. He didn't see it coming. They called. I didn't say roughing the. I say, how you call roughing the pass on that?
So it is
a legit hit.
So Damian says it is fair to the defense because you're seeing both defenses being used in overtime instead of seeing one defense, because the team scored and not all the other defenses on the field.
This is not about your turn, my turn.
That's not what it's about.
It's not about that.
That's not what it's about.
Determine who's a winner.
And you want to know what the problem is though? People don't truly understand what overtime is. They just think overtime should be an exact replica of the regular game. No, that's not what it is.
That's why it's called overtime.
And taste it. Like, no, that's not what you do.
See, they need to take away the name overtime and call that sudden death. It's do or die time.
Rob, if they were to take away overtime and call it a sudden death, this rule change never happens. I promise. I promise.
Sudden death.
It's called sudden death. You can't complain because it's called sudden death. And I'm sick of the narrative, bro. You don't want your fate being put in a coin toss. Score more in overtime or in regular time.
Exactly. Pride, you're right on that one.
Regular time.
All you have to do is not get into overtime.
Right, and then fellas,
regulation.
Yeah, and fellas, if y'all gonna get the ball back,
yes, sir.
What does that do? Do you know what I'm saying? End it right then and there. Then you ain't got to worry about it. Because
they get the ball back and then they can't score.
Yeah.
This is a part that honestly, we haven't even touched on.
Hey, that's a good point, Anthony.
The player safety.
Great point. Because now you're asking them to play more time.
And not only that, since it's
go
OT,
injuries, etc. Yeah.
Since it's OT, guys are gonna be more desperate,
tired,
and they might start hitting guys even lower. Taking out their knees, helmets. Like,
yeah, that's all true.
I mean, how many times have we seen injuries happen because somebody was out there for too long?
Absolutely, too many in all sports.
Literally, that's literally how like 80% of injuries happen. Honestly, that's how a majority of them happen, bro. God bless them, bro.
Oh my God, I'm just tired of appeasing. Like, I get it. Like, you want to always look for ways to make your product better, but you also have to think about the product. Are we going to take away the integrity of the product? Like, overtime is the way it is for a reason.
No, we have to take away the integrity.
Not to mention the money you're going to be losing, because you can't go that much into taking away other time from other programs that's coming on TV.
They don't want to talk about that.
Or taking away from other games that's coming on from TV. Now we jumping in the game in the second quarter. We done missed the full first quarter. You know what I mean?
For real.
It's like because you want to appease the people that probably just flipped the game on in the fourth quarter. They didn't sit there and watch the game like we had.
That is correct. Hey, Rob, you got to hold the fort down. I got to bounce. I got another appointment.
Yeah, Mike.
Have some fun. Great show. You know what I mean? I'll be on tomorrow whenever you want, man. Enjoy the show. Rob, you the man.
I'm taking
Rob,
on.
You the man. You know what I mean? So, and I enjoy the fellas. Y'all have a good day. Take care, bro. Love y'all.
All right. So, Rob, I got one last question. This is the last topic we got
Let's go.
Day today, bro.
I'm glad I got to make
it. Bruce Arians has retired. By the way,
I saw
Lamar Jackson. We're talking about that tomorrow. That whole Lamar Jackson situation. We're gonna talk about that tomorrow. He's basically butthurt that he's like, I don't want to leave Baltimore. It's like, yeah, because no one fucking wants you. My bad. I saw that out loud. My bad. That's so immature of me. Oh, Sam is back. Let's go, Sam.
What's up, Sam?
What's up, bro? How you feeling?
Hey.
All right. So, Bruce Arians, he retired.
Okay.
Goes to take a job at the front office. Todd Bowles gets promoted up. Tom Brady 1, Bruce Arians 0. Look his nuts. You don't try to check. You don't try to check Tom.
You don't check the GOAT.
Consequences. Sadly, bro. Sam, let me start with you. First and foremost, Bruce Arians retiring.
Yeah.
Does that like shock you? Like he basically just gave up the head coaching job to take the front office position. Like, did that surprise you at all?
It caught me off guard. I honestly, he's had health issues or whatever for the past few years that kind of made me think that he was probably getting close to this point anyway. But this close to the draft, this close to the start of spring workouts and training camp and all that. Yeah, it kind of surprised me a little bit at this time. Now, not that he, retired from coaching and is taking a front office spot necessarily. He's a brilliant football mind. I won't even argue that because he's shown that he's able to go different places and be successful as a football mind. But yeah, it surprised me that he did it this close to the start of things. I think maybe Tom Brady unretiring maybe kind of kicked him in the butt a little bit to make that decision because they like you said you don't check him but still the point being is it was a little bit of a surprise. I would say
I want to give my take on it because Sam, in case you don't understand the dynamic me and Rob have, I say something and then if I'm stupid, he looks at me and goes, "Pride, you're stupid," right? So he's the dude who keeps me in check, right?
Okay,
so
fair enough.
And then by the way, Sam, if I'm stupid, please let me know, right?
Oh yeah.
I think
I'm old. I'm old enough that I don't give two shits anymore.
There we go.
I'll tell whoever it is.
But I think it's a little deeper than this.
Okay.
I really do, and here's why. We're starting to see a lot of people say some stuff about Bruce Arians. We're starting to hear stories on how he's a dick.
Okay.
We're starting to hear like, if I know better, if I just closed my eyes and heard the stories, I would assume Urban Meyer came back into the league. That's the type of stories we're starting to hear about Bruce Arians. Now people are starting to ask, even though this guy is crazy, is it possible that Antonio Brown was right? Think about it now. Ooh. He leaves Pittsburgh. He was the bad guy. It was all this. The next year, we find out, hold on now, AB was on to something. Goes over to the Raiders. Whole thing comes, he ends up leaving that. Everyone's like, he left all that money on the table. Then the emails came out. Then he goes to Tampa and says this whole thing about Bruce Arians. And we just thought it's AB being AB. Now we're starting to hear other things about Bruce Arians not being a nice guy. I think it's a little deeper than that. Because I think Bruce Arians was like, people are starting to ask me questions. And I can't just deny it. I can't say it's nothing. Because now it's not just AB saying it. Certain guys on this roster said they didn't want to be here. Tom Brady comes back. That's when they want to come back. I've been trying to get them to come back. They didn't want lick to do with me. Tom comes back, and all of a sudden, our roster just looks happy now. Like, everyone is, like, talking about championship again. Maybe it's me. Rob, if I'm dumb, let me know. And if Sam, if you agree, pile on.
So are you saying that
I think it's a little deeper? I really do.
Are you saying it's one of those that Tom was enough of a wedge to keep Arians away from the whole situation and being? And here's the first thing: if he's mean, I don't care. On
most
that.
coaches are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. My thing is, like, if you're strict, I don't care, right? But if you're calling guys stupid, you know what I mean? Like,
there's a point.
They're gonna look at you weird. You have to remember the incident when he slapped the guy in the helmet. Because he jumped on the field and almost caused them a penalty. So I do believe Bruce Arians has an old school way about him.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, he's built from that old school culture where you get in the guy's face, where you put your hands on the guy, you stand up to these players. And as we see sometimes, you have to. because players jump out their body. Look at, I won't go as deep with an Antonio Brown situation, just off the strength that AB is a lunatic, bro.
Something that hit by Burfict screwed him up.
It is like it's, and you look at him, he's been a problem everywhere he go. I mean, we wouldn't even knew that he had a fake vaccination card had he just paid the person what he needed to pay based off the agreement that they had. Mm-hmm. It's not the first time we didn't hear about AB not paying somebody, so I'm not going to go that far. Now, I do believe with the AB situation on the sideline, there could have been some words there that kind of set him off to throw his jersey and things into the stands. And then we also know that Bruce Arians is one of the only people besides Bill Belichick that's willing to call Tom Brady out. Hey, you didn't play that good, as the leader of this team. And I can agree that players are wanting to come back now because Tom is coming back, but that's because Tom is a proven winner. I don't want to go that far and say people didn't want to play with Bruce. I think that team was going to split up anyway had Tom left because they were only there because of Tom.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So, and Tom Brady, for some strength, he got love for Bruce Arians. He got love for him. You saw the Instagram post. Thank you, BA, for all you done. And not to mention, he's still going to have a say-so because he's like a senior consultant now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he's going to have something to say. And I'm pretty sure he has something to do with Todd Bowles getting elevated to head coach. So I'm not going to sit here and crucify BA. I mean, he has that old school mode, but, a little rough around the edges. But I do believe he was a great coach, as Sam alluded to, great mind for the game of football, man. I think BA is an overall okay guy.
Well, and we all know that winning masks a lot of issues.
It does.
And if Tom Brady's not there, winning is a lot harder. And that's when you're like, screw this, we're getting out of town.
Yes, sir.
And with time, all good teams break up because you get those guys that say, I deserve more. Mm-hmm. I deserve more. Well, if the best quarterback, arguably the best quarterback, comes back, well, let's hitch our wagon to this horse for another season. Let's come back and try to catch that lightning in a bottle again.
Yeah. And you see Tom Brady, he checks his own ego. Tom Brady could be paid like Aaron Rodgers, could be paid like Pat Mahomes. He takes pay cuts to make sure he has the best talent around him. So as another player looking at this guy, like this guy is considered the GOAT, I'm sitting up here complaining about money. This guy could be getting paid the most money in the NFL at the age of 44 right now.
Mm-hmm.
And yet he decides I'm going to cut down on mine to make sure we have a team, because it means nothing if I'm getting paid and I'm not winning. Mm-hmm. And I can't win without talent.
Mm-hmm. And say what you want about Tom Brady. There's a ton of people that absolutely hate him. There's no other quarterback, especially at that level, that's done what he's done with his contract.
Yes.
Restructuring to be able to sign more talent, taking less money to be able to sign more talent. I'm not a fan of Tom Brady in the aspect of he's always been on a team that's not my favorite, or a team that I follow. But you can't argue with that track record.
Aaron Rodgers should have took a page out of his book.
Yeah.
Because now you lost your number one receiver. We're going to really see how good Aaron Rodgers really is.
You lost your number one and the guy who would have been your number one on the Scantling. So you got Alan Lazard. Bless your heart, homie. Bless your heart. Live your life. Shoot your shot.
Now we're going to see how much of a bad man he really is.
Oh, he going to be a bad man, all right. He going to be a bad man.
Hey, and you know what? As a Bears fan, that just warms my
heart. Oh, Sam, I love you already, brother. I love you already. Bear down, baby.
That's right.
So we got about 10 minutes left. I want to touch on the second part of this, right?
Okay,
because
let's talk.
Bruce Arians is leaving. Todd Bowles is now going to take over as the head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Shout out to Todd Bowles, man.
It's going to be his second head coaching stint after a unsuccessful
with the Jets.
With the Jets,
atrocity.
Yeah, I was going to say that was a dumpster fire inside.
But here's the thing. I mean, listen, I was originally hard on Todd Bowles about that. I took a step back, and I was like, you know what? What if I was being too hard on Todd Bowles?
Who could have?
Looking back, I think I was being way too hard on Todd Bowles, dog.
Didn't he only get 1 year?
He had like 2.
Or did he have 2? And still, to me, there shouldn't be, unless there's something extremely wrong with how the guys act, and they should get at least 3 to 4 years, because that allows you to really bring in your players that you think works and best in your philosophy. The mentality that you want to have. 1 to 2 years. Come on, nobody's gonna be able to turn it completely around. Now, don't get me wrong.
He create a culture with that.
Correct. Yeah, that's what I'm getting.
It was from 2015 to 2018.
So 15 to 16, 16 to 17. So he had 3 years. Okay.
So he had 3 years.
Okay.
Started off with a bang. 10-6,
which is not bad.
Didn't make the playoffs,
which is so rough to have that record
right.
And not make the playoffs.
But everyone was like, "Oh yeah, he's something." And then
5 they were rough because they went 5-11 back-to-back years. Huh?
Yep, and then he ended 4-12. Here's my thing when it comes to Todd Bowles. I was tough on him originally. I really was. But thinking about it, I really believe that it's just New York is just horrible. I think it's just I think it was just the Jets. You know what I mean?
Jets, yeah, they haven't been significant.
He
was relying on Ryan Fitzpatrick and Geno Smith.
Yeah,
who's going to win?
If I'm not mistaken, didn't they had gotten Sam Darnold, I think either his last year or the year after Todd Bowles.
Yes.
I think it would have been his last year. Would have been
last year.
Darnold's
last year,
first
right?
year.
Yeah.
I think he had him his last year.
They were horrible.
But again, you got Ryan Fitzpatrick, who,
Ryan Fitzmagic.
Yeah, Fitzmagic,
Hey, you know what? He's a very good backup. I'm not going to argue. Yeah. Fitzpatrick is a good backup.
But he's a top 10 quarterback in the league.
Just like Tyreek Hill's a top 10 receiver.
He's not a full-time starter though. Fitzpatrick.
No, he's the type of I'll be honest. For one game, I'll trust him.
Sure. Yep.
I would trust him for if you're telling me you're the fate of the world is on the line and you have Ryan Fitzpatrick for one game, I would be kind of comfortable because I think for one game,
like a Nick Foles.
Yeah, he could ball out. You got to remember, a couple years ago, what was it? The first 4 games, he threw for over 400 yards each, I think it was.
That's how he got the Fitzmagic name.
Right. So it's you know what I mean? So for one game, I would trust him.
And he grows a killer beard too.
What? Dude, he goes
straight Viking.
He's got the button down with the hairy chest with the chain. He looks so sleazy. It's be my father, bro. Please be my
You're
dad,
waiting
bro.
for the Russian accent to come out when he starts talking.
I'm saying, bro, I like vodka. I'm just waiting for him to just spew out that line just once. But I think Todd Bowles, we're gonna see. Well, honestly, here's the thing. I don't think Todd Bowles, it matters who's the head coach. I think Todd Bowles and Brady, they're gonna have a Belichick Brady type of connection where it's all right, look, I take care of the offense, you take care of the defense. We'll talk occasionally, so that way, you know what I mean? If we got to change the game plan, I'll let you know what I'm thinking. You let me know what you're thinking, and we go from there type of situation. That's what I really think it'll be. Check me if I'm wrong. You still have Byron Leftwich. I think he went back.
Yeah, because he was supposed to go to Miami, right?
No, he was supposed to go to Jacksonville.
So Jacksonville, right.
And then he was by the way, yo, I got full reign. I want y'all to cut the GM. They were like, key, you're fired.
He was like, cool.
And he's like, I get fired on my day off, Craig. And I was
for stealing boxes.
So I think he went back to Tampa.
I think so.
I could be wrong. Matter of fact,
the only thing with Todd Bowles that, hey, I was a little disappointed. And you know who's going to get the ball, right? When they played the Rams. Yet Cooper Kupp finds himself wide open in the middle of the field. down.
Is that Todd Bowles' issue though, or is that the personnel that was in?
It was the personnel, but also too the way that they played defense. Because I think he is either that or somebody missed a blitz or tried to blitz, and it was like, why don't leave that dude open, man?
Right. But here's the thing, this is something we also have to remember. More specifically for that secondary, they were depleted.
Yeah.
Remember, you had to sign an old Richard Sherman who had a mental breakdown.
Yeah.
And you had no choice but to keep him on your roster. And I'm not making fun of him having the mental breakdown.
No, yeah.
I'm just saying, for
he's not in the right state of mind to be playing an NFL game.
Right. He's not in the football state of mind.
Mm-hmm.
And you had no choice but to keep him because of how deteriorated your secondary was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And what sucks is when they got hit with the injuries, Baltimore got hit with it first. So a lot of the solid guys that they could have had, Baltimore already done scooped up. And if they didn't go to Baltimore, they went to Cleveland because Cleveland also had another situation like that.
Yeah.
Well, and then you have Eric Weddle that went to LA.
Which I wouldn't have touched Eric Weddle with a 10-foot pole. He ended up getting a ring. God bless him. But looking back at the Bucks, it's like they kind of were in a really bad situation. They were in an awkward situation where we're injured. So I don't know if it was Todd Bowles, but Rob, I'm more on your line. I just think you got new guys learn the playbook. I think they missed the blitz or they missed the pickup.
They missed the pickup.
I think it was a pickup that they missed because it's you're signing
somebody doesn't
guys
get that wide open.
You're signing guys, and for him to be that open, he
was wide open.
And that guy, I mean, you could understand a guy being open, but not that guy. Cooper Kupp shouldn't. You should have 4 guys on him instead of only 2. If
that's like leaving Travis Kelce wide open, like leaving Debo wide open. What are you doing? Grow up.
One more second, Jamar Chase is wide open in the Super Bowl game winner right there. If he's got another second,
it's just like how you look in the game of basketball. It's like, okay, we know the superstars because we know who's going to have the ball in the fourth quarter when the game is on the line. Yet, it's nothing you can do to stop them. Right. And Cooper Kupp, God bless him, man, because he did the same thing in the Super Bowl. It's he's going to get the ball. This to
basketball. You know what they did? They looked at Devin Booker, was like, oh, yeah, Devin Booker, he's going to have the ball in the fourth quarter. Quick, go double Cameron Payne. That's what they did. That's what they did. They just let him wide open.
And, Rob, I don't disagree that, good players make plays. But you know what? When it comes to being that wide open, that's not him doing what he can to get or to make a play.
Yeah.
Him doing making the play happen is him having 2 guys on him and him still catching the ball.
Yeah.
That was a breakdown defensively. And then, I think my grandma could have caught the ball that wide open. I mean,
I was like, golly, Cooper Kupp, don't play. Of all the people you let get open like that.
God bless him, man. God bless him.
But I'm hoping Todd Bowles does great because, also, again, the elephant in the room.
With a healthy defense,
how many chances do we get to see a black head coach in the NFL? So,
and to be honest, defensively, he's a genius.
He is.
Mm-hmm. He is. You know what I mean? So
I think if we're going to blame him for last year, you also have to give him props for the year before when they won the Super Bowl.
100%.
And the defense was the reason why.
It was
110%. Okay, hold on now. Hold on. Let's give Thomas Edward, Patrick Brady.
No. I'm not saying that, but
but the defense got them.
If that defense is a sieve, they're getting outrun. They're getting beat.
Defense, because they had some.
Let me not be too immature right now. Let me not be too immature.
And they had some monsters on that defense.
100%. 100%. But this has been ASAP in the morning. Mike, thank you for being here. You too, Jay, Sam, Rob. Always a pleasure. Always an honor.
Remember, Connecticut sucks.
Yep, and Chicago is garbage. By the way, Sam, that's how me and Rob say hi to each other. I'm from
Chicago's garbage.
Yeah, he bashes it, and I go, Chicago sucks or it's trash or something. So that's like how him and I say hi and bye. So if you hear it, that's where
fair enough. I won't take it.
It's all love.
100%, all hatred, 110%. But on behalf of Sam and Rob, it is your boy Pride. We'll be back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 Central. Until then, y'all know what to do.
We go.
Be safe.
All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. Great eye in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.